Electrocast.
There's a change happening in the way we live, the way we work, the way we spend our money and make our decisions. We are evolving to be more conscious in our actions in a way that serves the world and makes it a better place. Welcome to the Ethical Evolution. The Ethical Evolution podcast is brought to you by the Ethical Change Agency. I'm Bindi, CEO and founder, and I am honoured to bring you the stories of those who create change through paying it forward and giving back. Ethical business owners and holistic healers who are determined to create collective change in the world. Once we have a change in consciousness and through collective change, we can become one. If you know me, you know my next guest is no stranger to waves of sound. We met about 8 months ago, and since then our lives have changed for the better. She has mind-blowing intuition and is a holistic healer who truly loves what she does. She's a kindness advocate with a mission to spread kindness globally, understanding that kindness is at the root of all we need to heal. Amanda Mackay is a sound healer, an all-round amazing human. She uses instruments like singing bowls, tuning forks, gongs, drums, and more, and uses the vibration of sound waves to connect with emotions in the Biofield. This vibration balances the charge of emotion, allowing a balance to occur, so that when you recall a situation that there isn't the same kind of emotional response to that pain anymore. I can truly say that Amanda has changed my life this year and helped me to become a better human and to heal so much pain and resistance that have been holding me back for so long. My sessions with Amanda are transformative, and no two sessions are the same. If you're even curious about sound healing, please get in touch with Amanda. Welcome, Amanda, to the Ethical Evolution. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're most welcome. And, you know, I kind of have to invite you because we're on podcasts together all the time.
That's true. We are. We love to have a chat.
Now, tell us what you do. You're a sound healer, but you have helped me so much, can I just say. But do you want to just tell our listeners what it is that you do as a sound healer?
Yeah, so in sound healing, I see how people are on the inside. So I see all their magnificence and all the things that they could be doing. And so what I do is help to remove the resistances, the emotional resistances they have, so they can go on ahead and do those things that they want to create. So it's removing or balancing limiting belief systems, thought patterns, life behaviours that they've learnt either from family or the community, and that way they get to discover who they really are without all these what you would call negative influences.
And yeah, I know when I first started seeing you for sound healing, I was like, what is this? What's going to happen to me? But it is the most gentle experience that I've ever had, I think, and life-changing.
It is gentle. It's the emotional evolution of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
It is gentle because we're only working with what the person needs to balance at that time.
And you basically, each time I come to you, we're dealing with something different, and each session is completely unique. But people can actually focus on things that they want to achieve in their life with you, can't they?
Absolutely. We can work with boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing for people. They're not really sure even probably what a boundary is, how to bring that into their life so that they can create a really healthy environment for themselves, because not everybody has come from that real stable emotional background.
Yeah. And then, if we've been through any kind of trauma in our lives, you can help us get through that too.
Yes, so it's not a talking therapy.
No.
I use sound. The vibration of sound helps to balance the vibration of the emotion attached to the memory. So it's the memory that keeps us in that loop. So, and there's emotion attached to it. So we keep going back to that because it feels familiar.
Yeah.
So people keep creating the same emotion, and it could be in all different sorts of ways, different ways that they interact and communicate with people. But when that's balanced, when that emotion is balanced, you can remember the experience, but you don't have that emotion and it doesn't react in your body. So if you find people identify as being a victim, it's usually when they're still reliving that every day. So they're thinking about it all the time. So that emotion is exactly the same as in the moment of when they had that experience. So it's like they're reliving the trauma every day. So that's a big stress on the body. That's why people get chronic fatigue and things like that. If you identify as a survivor, like I had this experience, but I survived, and this is how I deal it. You're still telling the story, so you've made it your identity. I survived this, and this is what happened to me. You still have an attachment to that particular experience or situation. When you balance it, when you've healed it, you can remember it, but you don't have the emotion attached to it. So it's an experience, but it doesn't actually control your life in any way. You're actually in charge then. So you get to move forward from that. And it's not dismissing what people have been through, because there have been, very traumatic experiences people have had. It's not downplaying any of that. It's creating this really healthy emotional environment for everybody in their body so they can feel safe.
Yep.
In their body, in their environment, everywhere they go.
Yeah.
And that's really healthy. Really, really healthy.
And just what you said there is exactly what I've experienced, through the healing that we've done. And, just those experiences, you don't react the same way anymore. And you almost let go of that attachment that you had to them. And it's just something that happened to you and you've moved on. And it just completely changes your whole experience and how you tackle every day, I think.
Yeah, and it's even deeper than just letting go or just moving on. Because when people who've been through trauma have someone say that to them, it is a massive trigger because they're in so much pain. So it's not being flippant with people. It's being really kind, actually, and compassionate, this work. So it's teaching people that they can be kind to themselves as well through doing this healing, because to let that healing happen, to allow yourself to be whole, is the biggest kindness you can give yourself. Because if someone else didn't give that to you, you either spend your life in that I didn't get, or you can do it for yourself.
Yeah.
That's been my personal experience.
Yeah.
Create these things for yourself. If you didn't have that growing up, you can choose it.
Yeah.
I was 18 when I made the conscious decision to change the behaviours I saw that I'd inherited from family.
Yeah.
It was like a big light bulb moment for me. And that's when I really started on my own personal change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so freeing once you've done that as well.
It is.
Yeah.
And it comes in stages. It's not all at once.
No.
We don't change everything. You're still you, but it's a lot easier. You actually feel easier in your own body. And you're in it rather than being distracted and having outside influences take you away from yourself,
Yeah.
which is a lot of what people talk about in the mindfulness movement.
And it's actually a really good segue. You're talking about kindness. You and I also do a podcast in Kindness Always.
We do.
Yeah.
That was something that came to me many years ago now, mainly because I lived my life from such a young age being able to feel other people's emotions. And even as a little kid, I would be very conscious of what I would say to people so I didn't hurt their feelings because I could see how much pain they were in, which is a big thing for a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I didn't do so well because I just didn't have the understanding. You know, I was little, but I always couldn't understand why people weren't more kind because to me it didn't seem that hard.
Yeah.
You just had to understand people and just be kind to them. So I found it quite a bit of a struggle, really, living in a world that wasn't often kind. So I tried to bring that about for myself.
Yeah.
And when I started really seriously working in healing, it was what I first called my business was In Kindness Always.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get that message out to people. Just in everything you do, bring kindness. So because for me, I always approach any communication with people, or if there's somebody who's not happy with something or I'm not happy with something, I really think about it first and I go, okay, what is this really? Instead of emotionally reacting and jumping in and, you know, splashing around in the water and throwing words around, I've always really wanted to consider what is this really first. And I haven't always got it right, you know, but really being kind to the other person first before saying you're doing this or I don't like that, or really trying to get to it first.
Yeah.
And you might say to them, I don't like this. And, you know, it's not that you're totally passive or a doormat or anything like that. But for me, being kind is always being considerate and really understanding what is going on emotionally first. So that was where I was coming from. So teaching people that, just what are you actually reacting to? Is it that person? Is it what they said? What's the emotion that came up when they said it? And where else do I feel that in my life? So that's something in me that I need to heal first.
Yeah. And I also take the same approach now, and I think that's something you've taught me is, you know, actually look at what does that mean I need to heal in me, in the way that I react. But kindness also is something that we struggle with ourselves. We're often not kind to ourselves with our self-talk, often with self-hate and acceptance and things like that. Kindness is pretty much a universal thing that we not only need to give to others, but we need to give it to ourselves.
Absolutely. And this is where that reflection and understanding really does come in. Because if you're taking the time to really understand where is this coming from and then you're going to heal it, that is the kindness to you first. And it can be taking yourself out of particular situations where it's not good for you anymore. It served a purpose for whatever reason. It could have been to show you that that's not the way to go.
Yeah.
That's not the direction. Oftentimes when you come up against those things that you react to or aren't particularly healthy, it is to get you on a path that is. You know, you might have picked a career, like, really don't like this. You'll leave, but in that shadow of I don't like, it shows you the light of, this is what I do like. This is the direction I want to go. This is why there's always contrast.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, if you're listening to this, also go and listen to In Kindness Always, because we have amazing stuff there. Don't we, Meta?
It's great fun too.
Now, I ask everyone on the ethical evolution how they define being ethical in their business. How does it work for you?
Well, really, that space of kindness first.
Yeah.
Because that's how I approach everything. So even if somebody rings me for an appointment and I don't think it's a good fit, or they're not particularly ready, because some people are not ready for the work that I do,
Yeah.
I will refer them on to somebody else. So that, to me, that's being kind also.
Yeah.
I always allow people to connect with me, whether it's through the podcast or the meditations on SoundCloud. And it doesn't have to be in an appointment. You know, there's so many different ways of communicating with people to actually get that message to them. And also, a really big thing for people who do work for me, like me, is you have to understand yourself so much so you can help other people.
Yeah.
Because when I'm in a session with somebody or some sort of communication, it's about them. It's got nothing to do with me.
Yep.
So you have to be very conscious of not projecting anything onto people.
Yeah.
And being very clear. And that's a big kindness to both. To both parties.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
So my clarity assists me with other people.
Yeah.
So that's helping myself, but that makes sure that I am doing the absolute best I can for other people as well.
Wow, that's a very different answer to all my other guests.
I'm sure it is.
And you know what? I love asking that question because, you know, I get a different answer every time. And depending on, you know, how people run their business and what they do, that answer is different every time. You know, they might be talking about the environment, cleaning up the ocean, or slavery, or whatever it is. And yours was simply kindness.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
I love it. I love it. So back to the sound healing. For those people who haven't heard of it before or don't know exactly what's physically involved, so you use bowls, you use tuning forks, you use drums, you use gongs. You've got one here at the moment. Do you want to just explain the instruments that you use?
Okay, well, each instrument has a different vibration, a different hertz, so it's used for different things. When everybody can relate to when I feel stress, I feel it in my shoulders, my lower back, or my thighs hurt, that sort of thing. So you understand that the emotion creates something in the body. And when we've had that over a long amount of time, it either creates the physical pain that's constant. It can be an emotional state that's constant, but it's all brought about by the vibration of emotion.
Yeah.
So the feeling. Instruments creating a particular tone, the body naturally loves to be balanced. So it's like the body's hearing it and is drawing it in. It's like, yes, I'd like that.
Yep.
And as it's drawing it in, it's actually balancing that emotion.
Yeah.
Because the emotion is like melting underneath the actual vibration.
Yeah.
So, and then it's sort of like the body is then absorbing that beautiful clear tone. And that's what brings about the balance. So in the energy field around the body, which some people know as an aura or a biofield, that is your memory bank, your emotional memory bank. So about 5 feet out from the body starts your birth.
Wow.
So it's like the rings on a tree.
Yeah.
As you come in, that's how I can find the information because you are telling me. It's sitting in your field. So it's like I can hear it and I can see it. And when the bowl or the drum melts that, it's like then I can move in a little bit more and a little bit more and closer to the body.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing in that balance.
Ah. And
That's how it works.
I've done this, I don't know, a dozen times with you now. And yeah, I'm still fascinated every time there's something different. And it's really difficult to explain how it feels, but it's you do actually feel that emotion leaving you or that energy leaving you. And you get a sense of peace and calm when that's gone. It's amazing.
Yeah, the body holds a lot of emotion. Everything we feel stays in our body as a memory. So that's where the emotion and the memory are attached together.
Yeah.
So when we're balancing this, your body feels lighter. I've had clients, like a lady who was in her early 70s, could walk properly.
Wow.
And now she's got so much energy, she's going to start a business.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, amazing. She's like, this is what I'm doing, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
And people have had knee problems. So I'm not actually saying to anybody, I can help you with your physical ailment, but I'm balancing the emotion that is sitting in there that's creating that pain. So I can't say this is going to be the outcome, because usually the outcome is better than we could have ever thought.
Yeah.
And the only way that it won't work is if you don't want to change, because it's a free will planet and it's totally up to you. So if you want to stay in the pain, you can.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to, it can create massive change.
Yeah. And I've seen that firsthand.
So when you don't have those emotions sitting in the body, you're actually more present and you're in your body. You're not outside looking for distractions. And the mind is one of the biggest ones. All those constant thoughts, all those loops that keep going every day as soon as you wake up and when you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
They change. It doesn't happen as much. So you can actually be more present, more focused, more creative, and more you.
Yeah.
That's essentially the biggest thing that comes out of sound healing.
Yeah.
Is you're removing these emotions. It's like it's so crowded in the body that there's no room for this beautiful creative energy to come through in whatever field you're in of work. And once they start moving, it's like, oh, I've got freedom. I can actually move now.
Yeah.
I've even had a yoga teacher say to me, I can now do poses I haven't been able to do for 20 years.
Wow.
Because it's released.
Yeah.
And, they're more in the body.
Amazing.
It's great. I love this stuff. It's great. I love doing the work. I love watching the transformation for people.
Yeah.
It's a privilege, really. It's lovely. It's lovely to watch people with their emotional evolution.
Yeah. I think you've got a tagline there. You just made a tagline. Now we've talked about people and their emotions, but you can also help people succeed in their business and those kind of things, can't you?
Absolutely, because it's all the emotions that are holding you back and causing resistance. So, I can't be seen. What I say isn't of value. What if I fail? What if you succeed? Oh, my goodness. It's changing the way that we feel about things, so we just go and do it.
Yeah.
Because you can create 1,000 different excuses just by the weather, let alone anything else.
Yeah.
Or, you could buy an umbrella and just go and do it.
But I think the big change that you're making in the world is helping people find their purpose. And when they find their purpose and they've got that self-expression, that's how we're changing the world, I reckon.
So for purpose for me is being you.
Yeah.
Be yourself. And then you get to express that in whatever way you find fun. So you might be an artist or a healer or a podcaster or you might have a business that focuses on the environment.
Yeah.
freedom for everybody. It might be human rights.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you do. That's the expression of you. That's purpose. The purpose of being here is to be yourself.
Yep.
And then find whatever it is you love doing as an expression of that.
Yeah.
So people don't need to get so caught up in what's the thing. The thing is you. In all your magnificence, and then just go and do some stuff that you love.
And it just makes life so much easier to live, I reckon, when you're in that space. And, it just flows.
It really does, yeah, because it doesn't feel hard.
No.
It feels really easy.
And you love it. You're on fire.
That's right. And that's when you help people the most.
Yeah.
Because people are attracted to that energy. They love it. They're like, I want whatever that is. That's amazing. I want to feel like that. So they will come and help you. They will work with you. Whatever it is, they'll be attracted to that.
And I'm getting that tenfold in this podcast, let me tell you.
I know. It's taken off like wildfire. It's amazing because you love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody can see that. So they want to be a part of it. So, yeah. And thank you for being a part of it. So one thing I always ask, I guess, on ethical evolution is what is the change you'd like to see in the world and how can we bring it to life?
Well, for me, it all comes back to kindness.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I've really noticed about myself is I believe in human rights. I know we need to drill down and work on particular things, but for me, it's like everybody should be treated kindly. Everyone should have enough food. Everyone should have shelter and be physically and emotionally safe.
Yeah.
And that does take all these different groups of people working on all these different things in this broader sense of just being kind to each other.
Yeah.
Because human history has not really been kind.
No.
It's time for change.
Yeah.
And all these amazing people that you have on your podcast are doing that. And they're all so very important to bring these things about.
Yeah, and that's the big thing that the Ethical Change Agency is all about is actually driving collective change. And I think that's the only way we're going to get anywhere, really.
Yeah, in a positive way, absolutely. We've had enough of the darker side of things.
Yeah.
And, like all these big things that are happening on the planet now where people in really big positions are being exposed for all these awful things that they've done have actually been necessary to get people to go, you know what, we've had enough of that. We're going to change that.
Yeah.
So those people were actually necessary to come to the planet to highlight that.
Yeah.
So I'm not condoning what people have done, but that was their purpose. So we can get more light come in. So those things are on call now.
Yeah.
Like you can't just get away with it. And there'll continue to be people who do, things that aren't good for other people. But like some big spotlights have come out now.
Yeah.
So it is time for change. It's happening naturally.
And it's so amazing. Now, Amanda, if people want to find out more about you and your healing and the podcast, where can they go?
My website is amandamackay.com.au and
Yes.
the podcast is In Kindness Always, and that's across everywhere. Every platform.
You'll find us everywhere. I can't thank you enough for being a part of the Ethical Evolution today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a privilege.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening to the Ethical Evolution podcast. If you're an ethical business owner, change maker, or holistic healer who's determined to make a change in the world and you need support to spread your message, visit ethicalchangeagency.com to collaborate.
Hey, what's happening out there, everybody? This is Lawrence Ross, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about my podcast, The Lawrence Ross Show.
Egomaniac.
It's a 2-hour weekly exploration into my mind. I also do sketches, celebrity impersonations.
You're out of order!
And I also do song parodies. Not too shabby for a blind guy.
Not only are you visually impaired, but you are geographically impaired.
New episodes are released every Friday. Check it out on your favorite podcasting platform or listen to it here on Society 13 on Electrocast.
Introducing the Deep Leadership Podcast. Leadership is a people business. That's the philosophy of your podcast host, John Rennie. As a former submarine officer who spent 22 years leading businesses in corporate America before starting his own manufacturing business, he knows that leadership matters. Deep Leadership is real-world, actionable leadership advice from John and his expert guests. Become a leader worth following. Subscribe today.
Electrocast. Electrocast.